Now, I think there are two distinct approaches to landscape photography, that is static and dynamic. And in this video I hope to demonstrate the more dynamic approach which I like to take when I'm out walking. So watch the video and we'll have a quick chat at the end. So yes, there are two types of landscape photography in my book. And today I am taking the second option, the long walk with no real expectation of what I'm going to get. Now, it would be remiss of me not to mention the fact that although I am out taking photographs, I am out on a walk also. And the walk for me is probably going to be the highlight. I'd love to get some good pictures, but this scenery, this time of year, the weather, the atmosphere is fantastic. It's the anticipation, it's like being a kid at Christmas all over again. I just don't know what I'm going to get, but I know I'm going to have a great walk regardless. Right then, after over an hour of walking along a very boring road section for about 3 or 4 miles, I'm now starting to climb up into the hills and hopefully get some of those views. So this magnificent scene you can see behind me is the sort of thing I'm talking about when I come out for a photo walk. I don't know what to expect. Cloud could cover it completely, it might be in bright sun with blue skies. It's just one of those things, the more you come out, the more you're going to get scenes like this. It's a marvellous place to be. It's probably about sort of, 8 o'clock in the morning now. And yeah, I've got hours up here, hopefully most of it on my own. But I just wouldn't get this if I was trying to predetermine my shots. This is just random, this is just spontaneous photography. I'm sorry, but I just have to say it while I'm here, but wow, that is a view and a half. Well, I've been stuck in low cloud for over an hour now, so I couldn't shoot anything. That's the path. I've come up the ridge in the distance, I've climbed up. It should take me quite a while, and I'm almost at the top now. And thankfully, just as I've arrived here, the skies are clearing. But I'm hoping some of that cloud hangs around in the valley, and also there's a nice view over this ridge, if I can remember correctly. Well, I think after 3.5 hours of slogging up the mountain, I deserve a well-earned break. Something to eat, something to drink, and then we'll have a talk about the two styles of landscape photography. You see, I think there are two distinct styles of landscape photography and photographer. There is the traditional static photography where you go to a location, you have a good idea of what you're shooting, you take a tripod and you set up meticulously. You may have to walk a long way to get to that location, but you have the image in mind. It's something you're going to shoot. It's sort of pre-visualized, if you like. It's planned. Now that sort of photography is a lot of what I do. You know, I take out my medium and large format cameras all the time, and I prepare and I think carefully about where I'm going to shoot and how I'm going to shoot. Very often I'll know the composition, I'll even have a good idea about the lenses, the filters, the film, etc. I'm going to use. But today's photographic expedition falls into the second camp, and that is the dynamic landscape photography. That is where I am out on a walk, where I have no preconceived ideas of what I'm going to shoot other than I am going to take images while I'm out on this walk. And for that I need to be a lot more flexible in my thinking. For starters, I have to have a camera system which reflects that agile way of working. And today I brought out one of my Nikon F80s, which I regularly use, and I've also got a Tamron 28-300 VC lens, a new lens which is part of the plan to be able to travel and shoot whatever I like, wherever I like, without a tripod. And thanks to everybody who suggested lenses, by the way, on an earlier video when I asked for your help. Fantastic advice, and I did end up picking one of the ones which was highly recommended. This allows me to travel with just the body and lens only. I can shoot handheld at very low shutter speeds. I can react quickly. It's on the little Peak Designs clip. I'm able to quickly detach the camera, take images. Now, every single time I go out and I do dynamic photography, I get different images. I get images I never expected to get. That's because the light is changing all the time. There are no particularly iconic views up here. It's all beautiful, but you won't see many of the images I'm going to show today because they only exist fleetingly while I'm here. They're not something you can pull up in a car and set up in somebody else's tripod holes. They are very much, you know, your own images. They are sort of one-offs and unique. So this style of photography, I think, complements the more static photography. It's a good way of breaking out of a rut. It's a breath of fresh air, if you like, and it also allows you to shoot with different cameras and different techniques and different styles. And yes, the images hopefully will reflect that, and so far so good. So stick with me and let's see what we get. I'm actually hanging around up here hoping the mist will clear a little bit more because there are some magnificent views. I've made good time today, so I'm in no rush, but if I move off from here and finish my traverse of the ridge, I may be on the way down when the weather improves and I miss all the best shots. So a bit of patience this time, Steve. I think, to be honest, I probably had the best of it this morning. The light has gone very harsh now, very, very bright and direct. I should have brought an infrared camera, but I'm going to carry on shooting on the way down with the second roll of Ilford Delta 400, rated at 250 because of the brightness. I think I'll pull it a bit in development, but yeah, a couple of hours down, really enjoyable, and I think I will probably get a couple more shots. Look at the mist behind me there. Still fantastic up here, and it's one of the best walks I've had in a long time. So I do hope you enjoyed that video. The walk was up a beautiful mountain called Cadair Idris, which is in the sort of bottom of Snowdonia. It was a fantastic day out and I got some very good pictures which I'm really pleased with. Now, being able to be more dynamic and more spontaneous meant that I could react very quickly. There were times when the cloud was moving so fast, I just couldn't have done it if I'd have set up on a tripod. By the time I'd got the equipment out, I'd have missed it. So sometimes I was walking along and I just stopped and quickly took a shot, carried on walking, stopped again, maybe within a few feet or a few hundred feet, and took another shot. Now, I got through a couple of rolls of Ilford Delta 400, so quite a lot of frames really for a day out like that for about 6 or 7 hours, but I got some really good images and some real keepers in there. But that's not to say I wouldn't also like to shoot scenes like that with a more static approach with a tripod. But on these occasions when I'm out to enjoy the walk as well, I don't want to be encumbered with the extra weight, the burden, and the feeling that I must stop and prepare for a shot, wait for the light to be correct, possibly missing other opportunities. I mean, Ansel Adams once said, in I think his autobiography, that he didn't have much patience. If it wasn't right where he was shooting, he'd very often get back into his station wagon and drive somewhere else and shoot something else. And I'm pretty much the same. I haven't got a huge deal of patience. So I do find this dynamic approach to photography suits me really well when I'm up in the hills. But as I say, there are many times when I like to go out with the bigger cameras and the tripod and set up for that more considered image, especially if I know what I'm trying to shoot. But on these mountain walks, it changes so quickly. As you probably saw in a previous video, I had a complete whiteout in cloud and I didn't get what I expected. So a dynamic and more fluid approach is definitely working for me at the moment. So I do hope you enjoyed the walk and the images and maybe found the information useful for your own photography. So thanks again for watching as ever, and I'll see you again soon.